guys, I feel like adding a bit of commentary to this video, similar to what I have done in Jennifer ESL's collaboration video. This is not meant to be a follow-along type of thing, but some tips and thought process as I'm doing the drawing. First of all, a big thanks to all my supporters on Patreon. At first, I was going to make this part patrons' eyes only, but I figured my patrons are cool and generous enough that they would want what they helped me create to be viewed by everyone, which is what I want too. Okay, so at the beginning, I set up the camera as I always do, with a grid paper to make sure it is angled properly. I talked more about this in Jennifer's video. I started out with some general pencil guidelines. For those of you familiar with 3-dimensional software, think wireframe, right? The key spots are marked as usual, such as the corners of the eyes, nose, mouth, etc. When I do this portrait, and I know Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, just started a YouTube channel of his own, and I was thinking, what kind of expression do I want to convey in the drawing? Now, recently I saw the movie, what's called Central Intelligence, and it's a fun, light-hearted movie, right? And he really became one of the actors that I really like. Obviously, the guy is extremely charismatic with a lot of showmanship, given probably his natural personality and WWE background. But I don't want to draw him overboard as the super, eyebrow angle The Rock, Nor do I want to draw him as this smiling, nice guy. I want somewhere in between, so I looked for reference images that kind of matches that, and I did further tweakings in the drawing to get the expression that I wanted. The approach to the drawing itself, I really just shaded in some light and mid-tone first, in large areas, and basically started with an overall simplified statement. Imagine if you have put a super blurry filter on the whole thing. And then I added in some detailed lines on some key areas. And once I'm happy with those, I started to do some refined shading with the pencil, where I paid more attention to how dark and light they should be. Basically more value conscious, where the edges are and all that. I followed that with some smudging, which I know overall makes things darker, and laid a good foundation for mid-tone, which allows me to see where it should be darker and where it should be lighter. And at this point, even though it is not polished at all, the eyes and the rough shading allowed me to see if I'm on the right track. The rest is really just me continuously tweaking the image, detail by detail, lighting up the parts that's supposed to be lighter and really darkening the side of the face that's in the shadows. I would go over the drawing again, and this time focus on more on details. It's almost like I went through and worked on the whole drawing several times, scanning through them, right? First, it's about the structure. Next is a general tone direction. Then more details and tweaks to both tone value and key facial elements. And then probably once more to make sure everything is even more polished. I could do this again if I really want to make the photo realistic, but I don't see the point or the need to. As usual, I started kind of from top left to bottom right. It is mostly to minimize my hand from smudging, and is one of the reasons I left bottom right of the shirt blank until the end. And there's one thing about drawing portraiture in general, and this is just my opinion. I mean, once you can get a person's likeness as well as personality shown through, how much you tweak it so that it looks quote-unquote more realistic isn't really that important or impressive to people who know something about how to shade. Because, relatively speaking, shading is not the hard part. If you can draw a person and to have the likeness and the emotion or personality shown through the paper with just a few lines, that's actually extremely skillful thing to do, and it's very impressive, But not to take anything away from realism, obviously it is its own thing, and it requires a lot of experience and skill, and looks cool as hell. And it plays a big part in my videos, given their time-lapse nature. Oh, and random information, did you know that I have a second, more casual channel? I mostly post stuff there that is aimed for a much younger audience. But hey, maybe you'll find some stuff there you like, so feel free to go there, check it out, and subscribe. Okay, for the rest of this art video, if you guys have watched from the beginning, it's really just me spending hours tweaking details, and you can see the final result eventually emerges. Now something unrelated. For the month of August that's coming up, I'm thinking about running a few free portrait giveaway contests. And obviously I want to reward everyone, especially my patrons on Patreon. So if you enjoyed my videos and don't mind give me a tiny tip here and there while earning rewards, you can become one of my official patrons by clicking here. And letting me know if there is any kind of particular content you guys want to see more of. It is hard for me to reply to every question email, simply due to the lack of time. But if there's something I can do, I will try to. Like I know a lot of people want me to do a real-time drawing video that is not time-lapsed so they can more easily see and learn from. But I don't like to do things half-assed. And I would like to do one where I explain clearly and properly what I'm doing in the right order so it can function as a real tutorial that would work best for you in the long run. And that would take some time to make, and it's something that's always on my mind. Any other thoughts, feel free to leave me a comment. I do read and go through them whenever I can. If you are one of my patrons on Patreon, send me a message from there. That's where I usually check first. Thank you guys for watching this video and hopefully it has been helpful. And I'll talk to you guys later. Cheers!